The golden sun glances off the blue-glazed Ishtar Gate, lions etched in relief staring forever ahead. Caravans move along the streets, children chase each other through courtyards, and life continues in meticulous harmony. But beneath this calm, destiny stirs. A tide is approaching, unseen yet unstoppable, carrying with it the reminder that even the most magnificent city will one day bow to forces beyond its walls. Time passed. Generations were born beneath Babylon's walls and buried beneath its soil. Kings rose, ruled, and vanished into memory. Wars reshaped borders. Empires shifted like sand under desert winds. And for a time, Babylon faded from dominance. Foreign powers conquered it. Control changed hands. The city endured, but its supremacy was no longer certain. Yet Babylon did not disappear. It waited, like embers beneath ash. The return of greatness, nearly 1,000 years after Hammurabi, Babylon would rise again, not suddenly, but with the quiet certainty of a tide returning to shore. A new dynasty emerged, and with it came a king whose name would echo across history: Nebuchadnezzar II. He inherited a kingdom surrounded by rivals and restless territories. But unlike conquerors driven by chaos and speed, Nebuchadnezzar built power deliberately, layer by layer, wall by wall, victory by victory. Under his rule, Babylon expanded its influence across the Near East. Armies marched westward. Cities submitted. Trade routes fell under Babylonian control. But conquest alone was not his ambition. He intended to build a city that would outlast memory. A city reimagined. If you approached Babylon during Nebuchadnezzar's reign, you would not see merely a city. You would see a declaration. Massive double walls encircled the metropolis, reinforced and expanded until they symbolized invincibility. Moats, fed by the Euphrates River, added another layer of defense, reflecting the sky like a barrier between worlds. Inside the walls, wide ceremonial avenues guided visitors toward the sacred heart of the city. The most magnificent of these was the processional way, a road paved with stone and lined with reliefs of lions striding in silent procession. Each step forward felt choreographed, as though the city itself were guiding your movement. At its end stood one of the most astonishing entrances in the ancient world, the Ishtar Gate. Glazed in deep cobalt blue, the gate shimmered beneath the sun. Rows of golden dragons and bulls marched across its surface, symbols of divine protection and royal authority. Travelers arriving from distant lands often fell silent at the sight, not from fear, but from awe. The city of the gods Nebuchadnezzar rebuilt and expanded temples across Babylon, ensuring the gods remained honored and, therefore, in the minds of the people, protective. At the center stood the great temple complex dedicated to Marduk, the patron deity of the city. Priests moved through courtyards carrying offerings. Chants echoed through columned halls. Astronomer priests watched the skies from elevated platforms, tracking celestial movements they believed revealed divine intention. Religion and governance were inseparable. To maintain order on earth was to maintain harmony with the heavens. The Hanging Gardens, legend or memory. Ancient writers described one of the most mysterious wonders of the ancient world, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Terraced gardens said to rise in layers above the ground, overflowing with trees, cascading vines, and flowering plants from distant lands. Some accounts claim Nebuchadnezzar built them for his queen, who longed for the green hills of her homeland. Whether the gardens truly existed or grew into legend over time remains uncertain. But the idea itself reveals something important. Babylon was no longer content to dominate the earth. It sought to reshape nature itself, to bring mountains into the plains, to suspend greenery above stone, to create paradise in the desert, and yet, even paradise cannot stop time. Life at the height of Babylon, at its peak, Babylon may have been the largest city on earth. Scholars, merchants, priests, soldiers, farmers, slaves, and artisans filled its streets. Ships moved along the river carrying grain and stone. Markets overflowed with goods from across continents. In workshops, craftsmen shaped ivory, metal, and dyed textiles of remarkable richness. In schools, scribes continued the meticulous tradition of recording contracts, omens, trade records, and histories onto clay tablets. At night, oil lamps flickered in windows while families gathered for meals of barley bread, dates, lentils, and beer brewed thick and nourishing. Music drifted through narrow streets, laughter rose from courtyards. Life felt stable, enduring, protected by walls believed to be eternal. But history has never favored the word eternal. Conquest and captivity Nebuchadnezzar's campaigns reshaped the political landscape of the region. Among his most famous conquests was the capture of Jerusalem in 586 BCE. Its temple was destroyed. Its elites were exiled to Babylon. This event, remembered as the Babylonian exile, would echo through religious history for millennia. To Babylon, it was a demonstration of power. To the conquered, it was the end of a world. Empires are often remembered differently depending on where one stands. The quiet turning of fate after Nebuchadnezzar's death, the stability he created began to erode. Successors lacked his authority. Court intrigue deepened. Priests, nobles, and military leaders competed for influence. The machinery of empire still functioned, but its rhythm was no longer steady. Beyond Babylon's walls, a new power was rising. In the east, the Persians unified under a leader of unusual discipline and ambition, Cyrus the Great. City after city fell before him, not always through destruction, but through strategy, diplomacy, and calculated mercy. Whispers of his victories traveled trade routes toward Babylon. Some dismissed the reports, others listened more carefully. History rarely announces its arrival with thunder. Sometimes it approaches like distant footsteps. The night Babylon fell, in 539 BCE, Cyrus's forces reached Babylon. The city's walls remained imposing. Its stores were full. Its people believed themselves secure. Ancient accounts suggest the Persians diverted the Euphrates River, lowering the water level and allowing troops to enter beneath the defenses. Whether through engineering, betrayal, or strategic brilliance, the result was the same. Babylon fell with astonishing speed. There was no apocalyptic destruction, no city reduced to ash. Instead, the transfer of power was almost quiet. Temples were respected. Local customs were preserved. Administration continued. For many citizens, daily life resumed with little immediate change. And yet, everything had changed. Babylon was no longer the center of the world. It had become part of a larger empire. After the fall, Babylon continued to exist for centuries under Persian and later Greek rule. Its temples remained active. Its streets remained inhabited. But its era of supremacy had ended. Wind carried dust across bricks once polished for kings. Walls that symbolized eternity slowly weathered beneath sun and sand. Trade routes shifted. Power moved elsewhere. And the greatest city on earth became a memory layered beneath the soil. What Babylon left behind Babylon did not vanish without legacy. Its legal traditions influenced later systems of law. Its astronomical observations advanced early science. Its architecture inspired future monumental design. Its myths and stories traveled across cultures and centuries. And its name became a symbol of power, ambition, wealth, and human achievement, but also of impermanence. Because no matter how vast the walls, no matter how advanced the civilization, no matter how confident the people, time moves forward. Empires rise. Empires flourish. Empires fade. And the dust remembers them all. Babylon was not merely a city. It was a declaration of human possibility. And a reminder of human limits. This was the smallest part of the greatest city history. And don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.